So we have been discussing about such a career, how to harvest the energy of solemn truth. Okay. Now, as you all know, over here, we don't teach you. We discuss and we make sure you know how to apply Buddhism in your daily life. There are things that I require you to memorize, not because memorization is important, but because only when you memorize, you will be able to apply some of these sutras and mantras and gathas. Okay, so remember, the key is to apply what you learn in life, what you learn from any teacher. All right, so we have been learning about such a kriya through the famous 11 Paritas and Sutta. And we have learned Mangala Sutta, Metta Sutta, and we have learned Radhana Sutta, Mora Sutta, Vitta Sutta, and we're learning now Angulimala Sutta. All right, so now as usual, we're going to contemplate, we're going to recite, try to memorize initially, then we'll go to our discussion. So the Angulimala Sutta has two portions. One is introduction and the other is actual Sajja Kriya. So this first three paragraphs are just introduction. All right, repeat after me. Breakdown. Yampanandasa. Nexana Dana Dovana. Uda Kampi Vinasisi. Sabba Miwa Brasaya. The very water that was washed the seat of him who recited his Parita has put an end to all danger. Now, this whole paragraph just explained to us how powerful this Parita is. This Parita is so powerful that even if the chanter or the Ishin Angulimala is not there, even if you just get the water that washed the seat that Ishin Angulimala said, that water will be powerful. Okay, this is how strong or how powerful this Parita is. All right, let's recite it together. Sotina Gaba Vitana Yensa Sadehi Dankane Terasa Anguli Malasa Loga Natina Basitan. At that very moment, this Parita effected a safe delivery of the infant, having been invoked by the elder Angulimala, which was good for an ear. Now, the energy that he generated is so strong that this energy that he generated about 2,600 years ago will last an eon, right? We talk about the time duration of Buddhist power and power of all these arahant, and eon is a very, very, very long time, right? We'll discuss that again later. Okay, let's move on. All right, let's recite together. Kapataye Mahadesham Breakdown Dambanamahe. Now we shall recite that very efficacious Parita taught by the protector of the world, Buddha, to the great elder. Now, here comes the actual Angulimala Parita itself, right? Now, if you do not recite the introductory page, that's okay. As long as you understand how powerful it is and you have strong faith in the quality of or the energy of this Parita, you can start from here, okay? but it is our tradition that we start from the introductory stanza. All right, so let's recite it together. Yato ham begini ariyaya yatiya yato nabi yanami samsisha panan jiwida warobita dena sashina soti de hotu soti gabasati. Okay, so this actually is the actual Sasha Korea. So here it's saying that, sister, from the time of me being born in the noble birth, since I became a monk, I do not know myself, having purposely deprived any living creature of life, meaning I have never killed any living being. Tena sashina, by this truth, okay? Sati te may you be safe. Okay, Hati Sati Gabasati. May there be safety in your womb. Now, this can be interpreted in two different ways. If this is for a pregnant lady, this is for the safe delivery, or the Gabasati could be the origin or your innermost. Now, if someone recite Angulimala Sutta for me, am I to deliver a baby? No, that will be very unnatural, right? I'll be very famous. No. So in that case here, Gabasati can be interpreted my innermost or my origin, my cause will be peaceful. So that's the reason why the Angulimala Sutta, even though the story behind the origin of Angulimala is for pregnant lady, but it can be used for anyone. It can be used for me, for you. It doesn't matter whether you're pregnant or not, you're a little baby, boy, girl, doesn't matter. Okay. All right, so we discuss about why we learn Angulimala Sutta. Right, you have seen this slide, but this is very important. Now, what is significant about Buddhism compared to other religions? What is significant about this Angulimala Sutta that tell us that our Buddhist belief is so different than other belief system like Christianity or Muslim or Judaism or any other religion? Anybody would like to try it, to answer it? So let me give you, okay, Andrew, go ahead.
Buddhism is a practice.
Very good, Buddhism is a practice. But what I'm trying to get is, let me give you a few hints. Now, in Christianity, after someone died, where do they go?
Heaven.
How many paths can they go to? Two.
Two.
What are those?
Heaven and hell.
So either you go to heaven or you go to hell. Do they have any other way around it?
No.
No. So do they believe that they will become human being again? No.
No.
So, oops. So they either go to heaven or go to hell. Now, for example, for someone like Angulimala, according to Christianity, where will he go?
Hell.
Hell for sure, right? So, but in Buddhism, what happened? Why didn't he go to hell?
Because he entered Arahanthood.
Very good. Number one, yes. Ricky?
He didn't go to hell because he became a monk, and then after that, he helped the pregnant lady get the baby, and he did lots of good deeds after he gave up his killing streak.
Very good. Thank you. Let me, Kathleen.
I think the reason why Angulima didn't end up in hell is because he
entered arahanthood and hasn't killed a living being ever since.
Very good. So now this is very, very important. Okay. So because if you are in Christianity or any other religion, we as human beings do a lot of wrong things. Okay, I have done a lot of bad things in my whole life. Right? Now the chances of that, if I ever happen to do a major mistake and kill even anyone, chances are, according to Christianity, I am going to go to hell. Now, that's a problem with a lot of people in other religions. They become depressed. There's no way out. Because Christianity give, or any other religion give, a lot of dual or multiple messages. So they say, yeah, believe in God, God will forgive you. But on the other hand, well, if you did bad things, you're going to go to hell. Yes, Eddie, go ahead.
Isn't there like in Christianity like these boxes you can go into to like confess your sins, and then the priest is all like, oh yeah, but you're cool now, you go up to heaven or something?
That's not 100% correct. So how do you call it? You're right.
I forgot what the boxes are.
Box talking.
No.
Okay, who knows about that?
So you can't.
So in Christianity, if you're a Christian, let's say you have done some sin, some wrong, you go to the church, okay? So a monk or a priest or a chaplain or someone, okay? So on certain days, they will say that, okay, whoever sitting on the other side will not see your face. They don't know who you are. So you know that that person sitting on the other side is a priest, okay? So you just go there, you just confide in that priest that, hey, I have killed this guy, or I have done this thing wrong. And then you confide and ask for forgiveness from the God. And the other guy said, yeah, now you're forgiven. Now, is that how it works?
No.
Obviously not, right? So do you think just because a priest or a chaplain or someone tell you that, hey, now you confided in me, you confided in God, now God is a savior, now you're free? Is that how law of karma works?
No.
Not at all, right? So that's why a lot of people, they get really depressed after they have done things wrong in Buddhism, in other religions. So a lot of time what they do,
Suicide.
they commit suicide, right? So they have become either that they do more and more wrong things, or they commit suicide, right? Now, especially for me, I practice in prison system, right? I see a lot of, all of my patients are prisoners. So I see that quite a lot. So there is a movement, in fact, it started in England, called Angulimala Chaplaincy. Do you guys know what chaplaincy is?
Oh, yeah. No.
No. Chaplain is someone who, chaplain is basically like similar to a preacher. Like in Buddhism, most of the preachers are monks. In other religion, you don't have to be a monk. You don't have to be a priest to preach or to teach things. So I can call myself a chaplain, okay? So in England, because a lot of prisoners, they commit suicide. Just like here in England, the main religion is what? The Christianity, right? So a lot of prisoners, they commit suicide. The suicide rate in prison is so high because they just can't believe that oh, I have done so many wrong things. I killed this many people. I killed this, I killed that, I did this, I did that. And because confiding to someone in a little room next to me, and that someone sitting next in that little room is also a human being just like you. So they actually, even though they do those, but they can't really let go of all the wrongdoing they did in the past, in the past. Then they commit suicide. So a chaplain in England started the Angulimala Chaplaincy and showed this Angulimala story. Study Angulimala story. And guess what?
No one believed them.
No, actually, they started practicing because, as Kevin said, as Andrew said, Buddhism is a practice. They practice. Now, once they actually understand how the law of karma works, then they strongly believe that, okay, yes, I accept that I have done a lot of negative things in the past, but always the positive and negative can be balanced out. Now I'm going to do a lot of positive things, just like Angulimala did. Angulimala killed more than 1,000 people, right? Let's say I'm a serial killer and I killed 30 people. Right now I'm in prison. So I'm depressed. I want to kill myself. But on the other hand, if I kill myself, where I'm going to go if I'm a Christian? I'm going to go to hell. But on the other hand, I'm suffering. I can't sleep. All these people that I kill are haunting me every night. So I can't handle it anymore. Well, I would rather die. Maybe I might be okay, but right now I can't suffer anymore. I can't handle it anymore. So I try to kill myself. But as a Buddhist, if you do good things, all these good quality and energy that you are generating now balanced out what you did in the past. Okay. Now that Angulimala Chaplaincy was very, very successful. And the suicide rate in England prison actually went down significantly. Okay. So that's one reason that we're learning Angulimala Sutta today. But there are a lot more. Angulimala Sutta is an epic. The story of Angulimala is a classic epic that we as a Buddhist should know in and out. Right? So that's why I put it down here that Angulimala story teaches us about the culture, especially our Asian culture or ancient culture during the time of Buddha. Talk a lot about social responsibilities and what's happening in the society then and today. Talk a lot about spiritual lessons and a lot of life application. So we're going to rediscuss about the culture that we learned from this Angulimala story. Okay. So how many of you remember about the nomenclature and astrology that we discussed through Angulimala Sutta? What is nomenclature? Okay. All right. So nomenclature meaning the art of naming. Okay. So what do you see here? People. Okay. So what are their names? What is his name? What is his name?
That's a safe to call on the left, I bet.
Okay, so let's look at this guy. What is his name? Oh, maybe you know this guy first. What is his name?
Angulimala.
Angulimala, right? What does it mean? What's the meaning of Angulimala?
Single man, single necklace. Single garment.
Mala. Okay, go ahead to me. What does Mala stand for? Angulimala. What is Mala? Mala means garland or a necklace, right? A flower, garland of flower. But here, what does he have? Garland of fingers. Anguli means fingers, right? So that's how he got the name. But is it his real name? No. What is his real name? Ahimsaka. Oh, okay. Let me Kathleen. What does it mean by ahimsaka?
Harmless so that he wouldn't become a killer.
Say it again to me.
It meant harmless so that he wouldn't become a killer.
All right. Okay. So how did he get this name? Who remember? Go ahead, Wayne.
So the dad's like so scared that the son will kill the entire kingdom. He's like, don't kill him, boy. So after that, we must pick his name and we did give it as Simsika and the story. Super 5,000.
Okay. All right. Tata Ricky, go ahead.
If I remember correctly, they were in the palace or something, and then when all the weapons glowed, and the king was worried that something was bad was gonna happen. So then he went to see an astrologer. So and the astrologer then said that the baby was going to become a killer. But then the dad did not want that to happen. So then the astrologer said that whatever their name, they usually become that. So the astrologer told that ahimsaka, which is like harmless, so that he wouldn't be a killer. So then the father was fine with that. So he got named ahimsaka.
Thank you, Dad. So this is a very beautiful story that describes about what happened when Angulimala was born, right? So the moment that he came out of his mother's womb, the whole country, all the weapons just started making noise, sound, and started sparkling, right? To a point that everybody got woken up from the middle of the night, middle of their sleep, including the king. So Angulimala's father himself is a minister. He was the advisor of the kingdom. So he knew this is something really bad, something that give prediction about the future related to his son. So in the morning, he went to the royal astrologer, right? And asked, hey, what happened? What does it mean? The royal astrologer said, what? What did royal astrologer say? Your son is going to become a horrible bandit killing a lot of people. Was he happy? Not at all, right? So next morning, he went to the palace to go to his walk as usual. As expected, the king asked, because he is the advisor, the king asked, hey, I woke up in the middle of the night with these noises of my weapons and my swords and spears and they are sparkling. My advisor tell me what's going on, right? So then did advisor tell him the truth?
Yes.
Yes, right? Then, so story goes on. Now, he asked the astrologer, what should I do so that I can change this? So what did the astrologer say?
Astrologer?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anybody remember? What did the astrologer say? No? Okay. So remember this only sign saying that he is going to be the bandit, going to be the serial killer, right? But as a father, he was really concerned. So he asked the astrologer, what can I do so that my son do not become like that one? So he said, number one, name him the opposite, right? Now, that's how he got the name Ahimsaka. What does Ahimsaka mean? George?
Harmless.
Harmless. Because his signs is saying that he is going to be harmful to the others. Now, they name him harmless, right? How could that work? Do you think that will work? Go ahead, Andrew.
So I think it's like supposed to influence the person who has their name. Like for the example you gave, is like you wouldn't go to a doctor who is like Dr. Death because you wouldn't like it.
Okay. So remember at one point I told you about power of words. Okay. Power of our speech. So if you call someone stupid repeatedly, let's say you have a friend, you jokingly call that person stupid. Now the whole class started calling him stupid. The whole school started calling him stupid. What will happen to that student?
He will become stupid.
He will become really stupid. Why? Is that because he is stupid? No. Because the chances are that everybody's calling him stupid, he is angry, he will react and do things that he shouldn't. He will become stupider. Now, that's the reason why we don't want anyone, even if your brother and sister or your friend jokingly call you stupid, do not accept that. Anything negative, we do not want it, right? If you, even your parents, your mom and dad call you stupid because they're angry at you, because you're not doing something right, you should say, Mom, could you please not use that word to me? I know I was wrong, but rather could you help me do right than you calling me stupid? Okay, because the power of words, right? At one point I taught you about making few jars and putting cooked rice and just writing, okay, bad words on that jar and saying it every day. Even the cooked rice, which has no life, can change. Now the same thing, our words has power, our name has power, right? So that's why the astrologer chose Ahimsaka, harmless. Of course, not only that, the astrologer told the father to teach him what? To practice Vedic studies. So remember at the time when Ahimsaka was born, Buddhism is not flourished in his town. So what they believed in, his father being an advisor, they, as Hindu, they study what they call Vedic books. So those are the Hindu sacred scriptures. Very similar to Buddhism in a lot of standpoint, to be nice and gentle to the others, not to kill other people, basically 5%. So the astrologer told the father to teach his son, Ahimsaka, to practice those Hinduism and Vedic studies. So for quite a long time, did he turn out to be like his name, Ahimsaka, harmless? Yes, right? So, but later, of course, it changed. Per the story, you all know the story. Now, remember, this Angulimala story teaches us about this culture of how important our names are, what our belief system is, right? So we're going to discuss a little deeper into this today. Now, I gave you this example of these two guys happening in Burma, right? So this nasty guy name is what? May Online.
Myanmar.
Yeah, so I told you that they chose him not because he's a smart guy. Why did they choose him?
Because of his name.
Because of his name, because Min mean the king, Lai me, he is the
Victorious king.
victorious king, right? But they hate this guy who is supporter and who is the member of Aung San Suu Kyi because of his name too. What does his name say?
Angulimala, which
Minko 9, the one,
defeats the one who
defeat
defeats the king.
the king, right? So they want to catch him, put him in jail and kill him. Right? So what I want to tell you is the Angulimala story teaches us about the culture. Since the time of Buddha, even before the time of Buddha, from the Hinduism. Remember, Hinduism is way older than Buddhism, right? We are still continuing that culture today in Burma, right? So we're going to discuss a little bit more in detail about that. And
ဆရာကြီးကျွန်တော်တစ်ချက်လောက် interrupt ပြရစီဒီမှာ TK
all right, so now talking about the astrology. Let me ask you this question. Raise your hand if you believe in zodiac sign.
I do. What about this one?
No.
All right, so I see Thomas.
I don't really understand what a zodiac sign is.
Okay, I'll explain to you. All right, Marina. Okay. Who else? Kind.
Yeah, me.
All right, Yadi. All right. Okay, so who want to explain what a zodiac sign is?
Me.
Go ahead.
A zodiac sign is basically like when you were born, there's a certain year of what you're born, and that year is like what type of alien kind of animal you are. Let's say I don't know the exact places of what the animals are, but for example, this is not the truth, but you know, I'm giving an example. Let's say you were born in January and you were probably like Capricorn or something like that.
Thank you, Thomas. All right, Yadi, you wanna add?
Yeah. Okay. So technically, well, if we're talking about like regular Western zodiac signs, we're talking about Capricorn, Leo, Sagittarius, and technically it's when you're born during a certain time of the year. So like Thomas said, people born in January and late December are Capricorns, and there's a certain zodiac sign that you're assigned to at birth, aka a constellation that you're born under. And yeah, a lot of people like to believe that these certain zodiac signs have like these horoscopes. They're like future kind of telling. They tell personality about you, and yeah, so it's a fun thing to look at.
All right, very good, thank you. All right, let's look a little deeper into this, and we'll also discuss from the Buddhism standpoint how Buddha look at zodiac sign and whether Buddha believe in it or not. So that's what we're going to learn today. All right. All right, what is this zodiac sign?
Yin yang.
Chinese.
The Chinese. Thank you, to me. So this is the Chinese zodiac sign. What about this?
Native American.
Of course, it's said here, Native American. What about this? Hinduism, right? India. What about this?
Egyptian.
Egyptian, right? So I can go on and on. So any nation you name it, they believe in zodiac sign. There is no country you say, well, they don't believe in zodiac sign, right? Americans, they believe in zodiac sign, right? So there are so many countries. Every single country believe in zodiac sign. So in fact, there is a very good book talk about zodiacs of different nations. All right, and you will also notice that the Indian zodiac sign and Western zodiac signs are very, very similar. In fact, almost identical. So those of you who are interested in zodiac sign, you can read this book, Zodiac Signs, Zodiacs of Different Nations. And if you want that book, I have it. I can send you a digital format if you want to read. So very interested. Okay. So some of you might be interested in astrology. Some of you might be interested in astronomy, which is totally different thing, but related to a certain level. Right? Some of you want to be an astronaut in your life, and it's a nice thing to know these two. So you can read this book and you will understand about different zodiac belief system in all over the world. All right. Do we as Burmese believe in zodiac signs?
Yes.
Yes. Can you give us examples? What kind of zodiac signs do we have in Burma?
I forgot the bandit sign.
The sign.
Like the Naga.
Good. It's like Naga, okay, or like serpent. What else? Thong, you live in Burma. Tell us about Burmese zodiac signs.
I'm not sure. I mean, there's like animals of the days of the week. Are you talking
Yes,
about
very
that?
good. Yeah, the days of the animals of the days of the week. What are those?
There's like an elephant, I think it's a lion, a hamster, a mouse. What else?
Okay, very good. Well, let's start. Let's start from like Saturday. Who is Saturday born? Raise your hand.
Me. No, Wednesday.
Okay, Ricky is Saturday born.
Lion.
Kai is Saturday born. Ta is Saturday born. So what kind of zodiac sign you have from the Burmese astrology?
Rooster.
No, not roosters.
Kalo. I have no idea what it.
Saturday. Saturday is Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday what? Sunday
wait,
Naga,
wait,
right?
that's a
Naga is
Sorry.
the serpent, right? Then the Nenganui, the Miton is, she just said, is the Galo,
Kalo.
right? Tanela on Monday is
A lion or a tiger? I'm not really sure what that is.
tiger, right? Tanela Ja Inga. Tuesday is, who is Tuesday born? Raise your hand. Andrew is. Sarah, Sophia, Wen. Okay, do you guys know your zodiac sign as a Burmese?
No one does except for me.
Well, if you want a Burma, they have it at the temples.
Yes. So
Elephant.
Yeti said, if you go to any pagoda, you will see those zodiac sign in any pagoda you go to. Okay, so here, these are the Burmese zodiac sign. So let's start from Saturday here, right? It also tell you the direction, okay, is the Naga or serpent, okay, mythical serpent. But even though we call it mythical, actually Buddhism believe in serpent, they are real, okay? And then the Sunday here, the opposite, okay, is also a mythical bird, okay, according to English, but we Burmese believe that that animal does exist, called Kalong, okay? It's a big bird, okay? It's so big that it can actually carry and eat a human being, okay? Monday here is a tiger, east direction, okay? Tuesday, here is a lion. Those of you who are born Wednesday, raise your hand.
Me.
Yes, Wien and Yeti is Wednesday born, it's elephant, right? So now Thursday born. Any one of you born Thursday like I did? Yeah, okay, Miranda is. Macy, Kathleen, all right. Sophia Ton, all right, okay. So here, right, what animal is that?
A rat.
A mouse or a rat?
Okay,
It is a hamster.
it's a hamster.
No.
Right.
Wait, I thought a hamster was Friday.
Huh?
Are you talking about Thursday or Friday?
Thursday, you're right. So here's hamster Friday. All right, so we believe in these zodiac signs as Burmese, right? So how much do we believe in it? So as Yuri just mentioned, you go to any pagoda in Burma, you will see these zodiac signs. So
Yeah.
you see here, it's a Todopu here, right? So Yuri and Wian, and you will see the zodiac animal here. What is this animal here?
An elephant.
An elephant, right? So question is, does Buddha believe in zodiac sign? What do you think?
Partly.
Okay, so these are beautiful zodiac signs of Burma. Does Buddha support or condemn astrology, including those zodiac signs? What do you think?
He supports it.
Dylan, what do you think? Do you think Buddha will support or condemn astrology?
I think Buddha would support.
Why? Why do you think Buddha will support it?
I'm not
Astrology,
really sure.
astrology is kind of wishy-washy, right? It's not science. So if we say Buddhism is science, this one, but today a lot of us believe that astrology is kind of like wishy-washy, it's not science. How many of you accept today that astrology is real science? Raise your hand. Thomas does, Kevin does. Okay. Now don't get confused between astrology and astronomy, right? What's the difference between astrology and astronomy? Eric.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Anybody want to answer the difference between astrology and astronomy? Miranda? Oh, Josh, go ahead. You
I think
I think like astronomy is like it studies like things outside of Earth, and astrology is like stars.
Not quite. It's partially correct. Yeah. Anybody else? Which one's science? Which one's scientific? Astronomy or astrology? Yeti.
Astrology is science.
No.
Sorry, wrong one.
Astronomy.
Is science and astrology is
astrology.
Right. So astronomy is considered science today. For example, if you put a rocket into the space, or if you sent an astronaut to the moon, is that astrology or astronomy?
Astronomy.
That's astronomy, right? So you study about all the moon and their atmosphere and their earth and their temperature, the wind, and how we send human beings there, right? So who is trying to send human beings to the moon commercially?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk,
No,
right? He's
going to
first
Mars.
going to go to the space first. Space, is the space to the moon or not yet?
Yeah.
Not quite yet, right? Space is just above where our Earth atmosphere is, right? But eventually he wants to send human being to the moon, right? That is astrology or astronomy?
Wait, haven't we already sent human beings to the moon?
Human being to the moon?
Yeah, we have already done that.
To Mars.
That's of course, but can you go to the moon today just because you're very rich?
Yes.
No.
Not yet.
You can buy NASA.
Not yet, right? For you to get to the moon, to write those then you're gonna be very smart, right? You're gonna become an astronaut and you're gonna be chosen. How many people have set foot on the moon?
Not many.
3.
More than that.
A bunch.
What's the name of the very first person who set foot on the moon?
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong. All right, okay. All right, so that is the astronomy, right? So don't get confused between the astronomy and astrology. What is astrology? Astrology is a
Study of space.
They look at the way that the stars are aligned and they predict based on those star alignments, right? That is the astrology. Okay, so here you will see the Buddha astrology or the Buddha birth chart. Okay, so Buddha was born on Monday, April 26th in 624 BC, before Christ, right? That is the Hinduism Buddhist astrology, right? So what do you think? Do you think Buddha support or condemn astrology? So we answer support. Okay, anybody else want to say your opinion? Raise your hand if you think Buddha would condemn astrology. All right, thank you. Okay, so that's what we're going to discuss today. All right, so what do you see here?
Feet.
The feet of who? Buddha feet.
Are those dead bodies?
Thank you. So these are the feet of Buddha. What do you see on the feet of Buddha? Andrew?
I think astrology signs.
Yes. So this is a very famous pagoda in Burma. In fact, there are a lot, many more reclining Buddha today, but this one is in Rangoon called the 6-story Buddha or Chautachi pagoda. So one of the significant thing about that is it actually shows the astrological signs on the feet of Buddha. Now remember, Burmese Buddhism is a traditional, very strong traditional Buddhism. If Buddha condemned astrology, would the Burmese people put these signs on the Buddha feet and bow down to it?
Yes.
No. Right? So the fact that it is put here, okay, Buddha did not condemn astrology. Now, don't get confused though. When I say he did not condemn, doesn't mean that he encouraged you to practice astrology. He didn't either. In fact, he prohibited monks not to practice it. Okay. But just because he said don't practice it doesn't necessarily mean that it is wrong. Okay, I'll repeat, don't get confused, okay? Because a lot of people are very, very confused between what Buddha recommend for you to practice to be liberated versus what is true or not true. So for example, there are a lot of things that Buddha knew, right? At one point, just like you and I, one of the monks asked Buddha, hey, Buddha, if you know everything, why don't you tell us everything under the sun? So he was staying in the forest of the Indian sandalwood. In Burmese, we call it Yendai Po. So then he grabbed with his one hand and say, can you count how many leaves I have in my hand? So yes, Buddha, I can. Can you count how many leaves in this whole forest? No, I cannot. So he said, what I know is equal to all the leaves in this forest. But what I tell you is only on my hand. So then the monk asks, why? You're selfish. You don't want to teach us all you know. The Buddha said, as a monk, as a Buddhist, our goal is to be liberated. You don't need to know every single thing in the world, right? For example, let's say you are an astronaut, okay? So what is your goal? Your goal is to be able to handle the spacecraft to get to the moon, correct? Yeah, so now before you get on your spacecraft, you go to the dining room to eat. Now, if someone asks you, hey, astronaut Dylan, can you come cook this food? So you said, no, I'm sorry, I don't know how to cook that food. Your food is delicious. Oh, what kind of astronaut are you? I thought you were the smartest guy in the whole world. That's why you became an astronaut and you don't even know how to cook this food. So you said, well, I agree with you that at least I'm smart to become an astronaut, but my goal is to take this spacecraft to the moon. My goal is not to know how to cook that food, right? Now, the same thing. In life, we got to know what we want. As a Buddhist, if you are to be liberated, there are things that you don't really need to know, right? If you want to become an NBA player, right? What is your goal and what are you supposed to practice?
Basketball.
You want to be an NBA player, you're just going to practice basketball, right? Do you need to go to medical school to become an NBA player? No, right? So I can't blame you. Oh, you want to be an NBA player? Why don't you go to medical school and why don't you learn about biology? So, well, that's not what I emphasize on. Now, the same thing as a Buddhist, because our goal is to be liberated, right? There are things that we focus on. There are things that we don't focus on. But just because we don't focus on doesn't necessarily mean that they are not true. But you can say they are not essential. Now, this is what Buddha's take is, okay? Buddha does not condemn astrology, right? But Buddha does not want you to be dwelling on the astrology, right? So this is very important that you understand the difference. So for that reason, Buddha recommended the monks not to practice astrology. In fact, Buddha prohibited it. Okay, but for you, if you study, if you read, if you learn astrology, is that okay? As a profession? Why not? I said as a profession. But you don't need to practice astrology to be liberated. Do you understand the difference now? Yeah? Okay, so that's very important. All right, so, but because remember, Buddha was Hindu, and most of the culture that we inherited in Burma are also from India. So we still believe in these things, and a lot of people still practice astrology in Burma. So that's the reason why the choosing the name, right? So we talk about this, choosing the name like this here. I even told you about how my parents chose my name, and I made a mistake with my text name choosing, and my parents were really mad. My mother-in-law was really mad. So the Burmese are really, really very significant about choosing names and going with the astrology. Even though they call themselves as Buddhist, but because they're not monks or nuns, they don't really need to follow strict Buddhist guidelines. But if you want to practice strict Buddhism and you don't care, you don't really have to follow these zodiac signs. But it doesn't mean that Buddha condemned it. It is just that Buddha does not think that these are essential. Okay, but remember though, any temple you go to, even the most famous temple in Burma, which is, what's the name of that pagoda? Shwetakam Pagoda, right? Yeah, and so even you go there, you will see these zodiac signs, right? People go there. In fact, a lot of people go to pagodas to do what? No, a lot of Burmese, even though they say that, oh, I want to be liberated, I want to practice meditation, but 99% of the Buddhists, when they go to the temple, what do? Take picture. They take picture and they just pour water into this Buddha and they pour water into their zodiac signs. And who is this guy behind Buddha here?
It looks like Tet or Wen.
No, I'm not talking about Tet or Wen. I'm talking about here.
Oh.
Hey, Arahant.
No. Thank you, Demi. You tried, but this is actually considered to be the guardian angel of your zodiac sign. So this is considered to be your guardian angel, or in Wei and Yeti case, because they are once they born, so they're pouring water. So what is the tradition? How many cups of water do you pour? How old you are? Good. Depends on how old you are, right? So if you're 80-year-old, you are supposed to pour 81 cups of water. So 1 cup more. Okay, so let's say I'm 50 years old. The older you are, the more work you have to do. So you go to the pagoda. Now I'm 50-year-old. If I go to the temple, to the pagoda, I gotta pour 51 cups of water to Buddha. Then a few cups to my guardian angel here. A few cups to my zodiac sign animal here. Now, from Buddhist standpoint, does it make sense? From pure Buddhist standpoint, does it support you to get to Nirvana? Not at all, right? So if you're a monk, if you're a nun, and if you're purely meditating, practicing, do you have to do this? Nah, not at all, right? Because it doesn't take you to Nibbana. But why do we do that? Now, how many of you've done that? You have been to pagodas. How many of you have done that? Raise your hand. A lot of you have done that, right? So at least a lot of you at least came to the temple and pour water to the Bodhi tree. Now, you as a Buddhist who understand the law of karma, the cause and effect, the 12 links of dependent origination, you still do it. By the way, I do it too. But the difference is your mindset. What should be your mindset when you are doing this? What should be your mindset when you're doing this? Andrew.
You're supposed to do it happily.
Okay, very good. What else? If you just pour water just for the sake of, okay, I'm 15 years old, I'm going to pour 16 cups of water on Buddha and a few cups of water on my guardian angel and a few cups for this, my zodiac sign, just for the sake of formality or just because your parents tell you to do that way. What do you get? Nothing. You waste water, right? You're wasting the most precious resource on the earth, right? For example, if you do that in California, oh my goodness, what a bad citizen you are. We're in a bad drought, right? And you're wasting water. Now, in Burma also is during summer it's really hot. So if you just pour water with a bad mindset, you're just wasting water. you're not supporting the environment, right? So, but you still can do it with the right mindset. What should your mindset be? Miranda.
Happy.
Good mindset.
Okay. Sophia 1. So the mindset that you are to have when you are practicing this is, number one, make sure that you're happy. Number two, every cup of water that you pour, okay, you in your mind, you're praying for people. First, you're happy, you pray for yourself. It's just like you're practicing loving kindness meditation. Every cup you pour, all right, you think about, just like I'm given peace and cool to this image of Buddha. May all the other people in the whole world, in Burma, wherever, or your family, your relative, be peaceful. All right, cool. So that's how your mindset should be. All right. Now, just because we believe in our guardian angels, the same thing. So when you pour water into this image up here, now you're basically sending your love and kindness to your guardian angel. Okay. Now, same thing when you pour here, you're actually not necessarily doing only for your zodiac sign, for all the animals in the whole world. Right? Another way you look at it. So this is Buddha, the earth, where it is. This is the upper realm, and you send loving kindness to people above. Okay, you send loving kindness to people on the same level as you are. You send loving kindness to people below you. That's how you should keep your mindset. Okay, so from now on, whenever you go to any temple and you pour water, you're gonna be in meditative mood. Whenever you pour water, you're gonna keep your mindset that way. All right. So you send a loving kindness to people at the same level as you are, especially other human beings. Okay. Then you pour water here to this beautiful guardian angel, people above you, like those in like the heaven, all these levels. And down here, people below you, like animals, hungry ghosts, the house, right? Only then what you do will be considered as a Buddhist. If not, you're just wasting water. Okay, so don't waste water, right? Be a Buddhist. Any question, any comment? Don, you go to Sri Buddha quite often, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you pour water like this?
Yes, most of the time.
Most of the time, right? What kind of mindset did you have before?
I didn't really understand. I just did it because others did it.
Good. Now you're not the only one. Every single person in the whole Burma is pretty much doing the same thing. But next time when you go to any pagoda, will you change your mindset and do it differently?
Yes.
All right, very good. Thank you. So it is very important, because if you don't understand this, let's say a Christian or a foreigner come and asks you, hey, you are pouring water to Buddha. What are you doing? And you say, I don't know. Or you say, oh, because I pour water to Buddha and I will become all my problem will be washed away. So they will ask, oh, Hinduism is the same way. The Hindus, they go down to the Ganges River and they believe that the Ganges River will wash away all your sin. What's the difference between the Hindus' belief and what you Buddhists believe? It's the same thing. Useless. Would you be happy?
No.
No. It's not his or her fault. It is your weakness that you don't understand what you are doing and you don't understand how to explain it, right? So you really need to understand the core concept of Buddhism. If not, you're just pouring wisdom water, pouring water into a piece of stone here, or it could be a piece of wood, right? You're throwing water to a piece of stone here, piece of some cement here, piece of some cement here, right? But instead, if your mindset is right, you gain a lot of positive energy. All right? Any question? No? Everybody's quiet. All right. Okay, we'll move on a little bit more. So that's the reason why we Burmese still believe in astrology, and some Burmese take it the wrong path. And a lot of Burmese, instead of going to the temple and meditate and practice meditation, they just follow the astrologers, right? In Burma, astrologers make a lot of money. Just to pick my